It's an untold story. It's a story that you don't learn about in the history books. It's a story that they're not teaching in the classrooms. And yet it is where the American Revolution was won, right here in our backyards.
I've thought about this many times. What was it that motivated a man to leave his home and walk for almost 2 weeks in order to chase down a British-led group and then to get my rifle and shoot at them? It took quite a bit of determination on their part, and also, I'm sure, fear of what might happen if they did not take this very dangerous duty, because Ferguson had threatened to come into their country and hang their leaders and to destroy their farms with fire and sword.
They were men and families that really settled the back country of what was, at that time, the frontier of the colonies. And with the advance of the British and the threats made by Patrick Ferguson, was not something they were going to sit around and wait to have happen.
Those early patriots, they came out of the mountains, ended up at Kings Mountain, and faced possible death in their effort to get rid of the enemy. It resulted in a victory for the Patriot side over Major Patrick Ferguson.
It was really the first victory in the Southern campaign that really spirited up the troops and the people of the backcountry to take up arms against the king.
Thomas Jefferson himself said that this was the turning point in the final outcome a year later. If it had not been for the victory at Kings Mountain, we very well could be speaking the King's English now instead of good old American. The trail that was used is a significant part of that whole story. So we need to preserve it and to make sure that future generations know what happened there 200 and odd years ago.
I grew up here and did not know that story as a child. I wanted to be sure that this story got out and was maintained over the years. This is a real treasure to our county, our state, and our people.
This is a wonderful country, and the freedoms that we have gives us the opportunity to experience outdoor recreation in a safe and fun way. Getting out here and being on the trails is what I want to do, but if I can, along the way, thank those people that made it possible, that's pretty cool.
Our goal is to eventually have the 330 miles that these men marched on the ground that people can walk all the way from Abingdon, Virginia, and Wilkesboro, all the way down to Kings Mountain National Military Park.
Hopefully people that live in the community will have that as another source that they can go and exercise. If we realize the importance of it in the Revolutionary War, it serves as a chance that we can educate our children about that. I think that's very beneficial.
When companies come to South Carolina, they want to see this. They want to know what they can do on the weekends. Can I go hiking? Can I go kayaking? They want to know what their family can do once they get here.
In Rutherford County, there are more miles of the trail than any other county in the 4 states in which the trail goes through. And it's tremendously important that we get involved in preserving this trail in Rutherford County and set an example for all of North Carolina as this trail is developed.
When the trail was established, it was basically established as a corridor of any property that's within a half a mile either side of what we know is the actual historic trail bed.
Well, I would encourage property owners to take a close look at this because of its importance from a standpoint of preserving history as well as scenic preservation.
Part of the requirements of becoming a certified section of the Over Mountain Victory National Historic Trail is that the owner agrees that that portion of the trail that can be utilized to help tell the story will be undeveloped.
In North Carolina, we have strong state statutes that protect landowners from liability for allowing the public to use their land for recreational purposes. So they still own the underlying land, but then the trail easement comes through there.
I think it's great if the landowners can support it. And I think that the people that live here feel it's important too. It's an added value to this community.
There's also the economic development impact. People are going to follow the trail. They're going to come to this area. They're going to spend money in shops. They're going to buy food at the restaurants. They may even decide to live here. It's a nice area of the country. And then having outside activities, hiking, biking, walking, a healthy community is important.
I think the greatest benefit for an individual is really the legacy that leaves. The opportunity to provide for the future generations But you know, sometimes it's just not the right thing for a particular landowner, and that's okay. That's why the corridor is a mile wide. It allows opportunities for people to engage or not engage. The bottom line is that we want everybody that's involved in this to come to this of their own will and knowing that this is their thing, to keep this story alive, the story of the Over Mountain Men.